This is KVUE News Daybreak.
An Austin man in police custody this morning after a house fire leads to a SWAT situation. We'll explain what happened and how the incident came to an end.
And President Trump calling a meeting at the White House today. All 100 senators expected to attend. The national security topic he's expected to discuss.
And Austin's Mayor Steve Adler has a special trip today planned. We'll have details coming up just ahead.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. It is Tuesday, April 25th. Before we check in with Ana Reyes for a look at the roads, we're going to get to Erica Lopez to see what's happening outside your window.
Hey there, guys. Good morning. We're tracking a cold front that's just to the north of us. Not going to impact us today. That's going to be early tomorrow morning. We'll feel the impacts of that. As for now, this morning, under the influence of this ridge of high pressure, still keeping us in the clear and very, very warm also. We're tracking an increase in temperatures for central Texas this afternoon. Temperatures right now, much warmer than yesterday. We're in the 60s across the entire viewing area. Check out your daytime high temperatures for this afternoon, though. 88 in Austin, close to 90 for the majority of central and eastern counties. We're going to be close to 100 degrees this afternoon. That's well above average for the hill country. I'm also tracking a cool down. I'll let you know when that arrives in your full forecast. As for now, let's turn things over to Ana Reyes. She has the latest on the roads conditions this morning.
I sure do. Thank you, Erica. Well, this is a live tech stop view at 71 eastbound at 1:30. You can see here that this is the area we are monitoring this morning. There's actually an accident and a vehicle fire reported this morning. Emergency crews are on the scene. 71 eastbound is actually closed off due to this fire. So we'll have more details after in a little bit. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks so much. Well, a man is in police custody this morning after a bizarre SWAT standoff in East Austin. It began as a fire around 9 last night on Willow Street near Cesar Chavez. Officials believe the man they have in custody this morning, that they have him in custody and that he started the fire, then pointed a gun at a firefighter when they asked him to leave the home. Police say the man then barricaded himself in a room while SWAT officers entered the home. He did surrender around midnight, and police say he will most likely face charges. 2 other people were inside the house, but they were not hurt.
Today, Trump administration officials will meet at the White House to discuss the ongoing crisis in North Korea. President Donald Trump saying the United Nations Security Council needs to have stronger sanctions on North Korea and that it's time to solve the problem posed by the country's nuclear weapons program. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has more from Washington.
Tensions between the United States and the North Korean regime are still high and rising.
North Korea is a big world problem.
The situation in North Korea is set to be the big topic at the White House Wednesday, when all 100 U.S. senators take a trip to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Briefing them are the Secretaries of State and Defense, Director of National Security, and the Chair of the Joint Chiefs. Usually, it's the other way around. Administration officials travel to Capitol Hill to address Congress on foreign policy matters.
The Council must be prepared to impose additional and stronger sanctions on North Korean nuclear and ballistic missile programs.
On Monday, President Trump called on the United Nations Security Council to do more. Overnight, leaders from Japan, South Korea, and the U.S. met in Tokyo to discuss the same, as North Korea continues to threaten the United States with war, recently saying it could sink an American aircraft carrier in just one strike.
They have threatened South Korea and American forces in South Korea. They've threatened Japan. They've now threatened the west coast of the United States. This is a very serious issue for the United States, and I think is one of the great priorities of our foreign policy to contain North Korea's nuclear power.
Overnight, a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine docked in South Korea, but it's not expected to take part in any type of naval exercise. Stephanie Ramos, ABC News, Washington.
U.S. military officials saying that Russia may be providing weapons to the Taliban to use against American-backed forces in Afghanistan. This is according to U.S. General John Nicholson, the commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan. At a news conference yesterday, Nicholson, with Defense Secretary Jim Mattis by his side, said he would, quote, not refute that Moscow is involved in providing weapons. Now, Nicholson recently told Congress that he needs a few thousand more troops to keep Afghan security forces on track to handle the Taliban. The Trump administration is still reviewing possible troop decisions.
Happening today, Austin Mayor Steve Adler will meet with Attorney General Jeff Sessions in Washington today to discuss a variety of legislative issues. As KVUE's Corey Coffin reports, public safety will be the focus.
Good morning, Yvonne. Well, Mayor Adler says that his main goal here is to address the issue of sanctuary cities with Sessions. He's one of several mayors making this trip around the nation, publishing an op-ed about the trip. Adler begins his op-ed with an explanation. On Tuesday, he writes, "I'm joining a few mayors in Washington, D.C. to ask Attorney General Jeff Sessions what's turning out to be a complicated question. What exactly is a sanctuary city?" He goes on to say that he believes it's currently unclear. For instance, Travis County and Austin specifically don't fall under most current definitions of a sanctuary city. We do comply with all federal laws about communication between government agencies. We weren't one of the cities to receive a letter from Attorney General Sessions last week demanding proof of that communication. And while Adler admits we don't comply with ICE detainer requests, he writes that requests are just that, requests, and holding undocumented immigrants without a warrant is purely voluntary. That's why Adler wants to clarify the term. He says none of the existing definitions seem to fit Austin. Yet back in February, during heightened ICE raids, our county had one of the highest arrest rates of undocumented immigrants in the country. Adler ends his article by stressing that, quote, "Asking local police to appear as federal immigration agents destroys trust. We know what keeps our city safe, and we're happy to share what we've learned," end quote. And those mayors are set to give a public response after that meeting this morning, and Mayor Adler will be talking publicly about it once he's back in town on Wednesday. Live in the newsroom, I'm Corey Coffin for KVUE News.
Corey, thanks. Travis County prosecutors still investigating an alleged assault case against a 4-year-old girl. The child's family says the incident happened back in February at Boone Elementary School here in Austin. The young girl's mother, who wants to remain anonymous, is now opening up about her daughter's recovery. The parents say it happened after they dropped their daughter off. The young girl taken to Dell Children's Medical Center the same day. Medical records show there was trauma and the child suffered injuries related to sexual assault. The mother says she requested meetings with her daughter's teacher to explain the situation. So far, that hasn't happened.
Somebody knows something, and nobody is saying anything. So beyond frustrated and heartbroken, just my hands are tied, and my daughter is only 4, and I feel like I am her voice. She and I need closure.
AISD did initially investigate, but the district's police chief admitted investigators made a mistake during that investigation. The case was closed before officials got to see the girl's medical records. The mother of the young girl says she's doing okay. The girl is this morning. And despite what has happened, the little girl is in good spirits.
Well, happening today, college students across the nation, including here in Austin, are coming together to protest bills aiming to take away rights from the LGBTQ community. At today's Students Against Hate rallies, students will take a stance against bills that would allow county clerks to not issue marriage licenses based on religious beliefs, allow child welfare services providers to deny assistance to LGBTQ Texans, and they're protesting the controversial bathroom bill as well, which would require transgender people to use public bathrooms that match the sex on their birth certificates rather than the gender they identify with. And students at the University of Texas will meet at the West Mall at noon to begin their protest.
New this morning, Austin School Board members say they are looking to fill the vacant seat on the board sooner than later. This decision came during a meeting last night following trustee Paul Saldana's resignation earlier this month. According to our partners at the Statesman, the district could post candidate applications as early as this week, and the public will be able to hear from selected candidates during public interviews by trustees. The board would vote in June to appoint the preferred candidate. Time now to get a check of our forecast for this Tuesday with Erica Lopez. Hi, Erica.
Hey there, guys. Good morning. Well, this morning, a lot different from yesterday morning. We're talking warmer temperatures and increased humidity levels also. That's going to be the case all day long. Temperatures right now in the 60s for the majority of the region, mid 60s to lower 60s for the Hill Country, 60 in Blanco, Austin at 63, Pflugerville still upper 50s, Cedar Creek right now you're at 62 degrees. Check out your daytime high temperatures though, forecasting to be close to 100 degrees. The Hill Country is going to be scorching today, 97 for Mason, 10 degrees cooler the further central and east you are in our viewing area, but still quite warmer than yesterday. Today is the day you want to stay cool, stay hydrated, because not only are we talking warm temperatures, but also increase of humidity. Our rush hour forecast is looking pretty good, though. Shouldn't affect your morning commute at all. We'll kick off your day mostly cloudy, decreasing cloud coverage, but increasing temperatures and increasing humidity this afternoon. Austin, here's how you can plan out your day. Mostly cloudy start, bumping up to upper 80s this afternoon. Heat index values, which is the feel-like temperature, will definitely feel like the 90s because of how humid it's going to be this afternoon. So guys, we're getting closer to more summer-like temperatures. Today is definitely going to be a warm afternoon in store. Back to you.
The warm-up begins. Erica, thanks. Fayette County's crime-fighting canine strikes again. Lobos and his handler, Sergeant Randy Thuman, have found about 15 kilos of cocaine worth more than $1.5 million. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office says it happened during a traffic stop Friday on I-10 near the Flatonia exit. Lobos sniffed out the drugs and found them inside a toolbox within a floor compartment of the truck. The driver had his wife and 3 kids in the car with him at the time. He was arrested, been charged with drug possession. Still ahead, we've all seen the video of the United Airlines flight.
And this passenger being dragged off the plane, Dr. David Dow. Well, now the officer seen in that video is telling his side of the story.
And we've seen flying cars in the movies and on TV, but now it could be in your own backyard or maybe by the lake you live near. A new prototype being called the electric aircraft. We'll tell you how it works coming up.